I'm focused solely
You're
on the
watching
coronavirus.
live a scene that we have not seen yet. We've been into these daily briefings for now a month and several days. Protesters wrapping around the state capitol, parking themselves right outside the governor's first floor briefing room there, so loud that you can hear what they were saying right inside the governor's briefing room. As you see, we're bringing you a live picture there, and we have more coverage of this coming up right now at 6 on WHAS 11 News from our political reporter Chris Williams outside live at the scene from the Capitol. Coming right up. And it is a breaking story here at 6 o'clock happening at the moment, chanting, "Let us work." You've been hearing them for most of the hour. Very loud protesters right outside the governor's briefing room. They want the state to reopen businesses. The governor saying that would kill people. Political editor Chris Williams first showed us this group live at 4 o'clock, and he has more on their message. He's live outside the Capitol. Chris?
And Doug, I'm going to step out of the way here. Hopefully you can hear me through the N95 mask I'm wearing, but that is the area that you've been hearing if you've been watching the governor's news conference at 5 o'clock. This is a group of demonstrators that started to gather around 4:30. They say that they believe that the governor has overreached his authority, that he's overstepped, and that the numbers of COVID-19 patients in Kentucky do not stand up to what he says is the need to close down businesses. This is what they were calling the Keep Open Business Kentucky rally. And you can see a lot of people up there with signs. They've talked about tyranny in some of their chants. And you can see the "Don't Tread on Me" flags that some of them are carrying as they stand in this area. We've been seeing them. They came out and they rallied out here on the steps of the Capitol, between the Capitol and the Annex, for about a half hour, and then they started to walk around the Capitol, and then they looped back around to the area where inside the building the governor has his nightly news conference at 5 o'clock. There have been several hundred people here, probably between 200 and 400 people at the max out here. But we've seen, in fact, Phil, our photographer, I'm going to ask him to go ahead and spin this way, which is probably the last thing he wants to do where the sun is. But you can see a steady stream of cars still coming into the parking lot. Many of these people have been coming in honking their horns and saying that and shouting support for these, but we've also seen some who have booed the people who are here. But let's get you to the work that's going on inside the Capitol that is not this protest and not the governor's news conference. Today is a really important day out here at the Capitol. It's the last day that the lawmakers can get their work done. They got to finish before midnight tonight. The House spent the day trying to override the governor's line item vetoes on the budget. They did that. The Senate is expected to take them up shortly, and they have an expectation that they'll clear that body as well. Democrats accuse Republicans of doing so just to tie the governor's hands at an unprecedented time. Republicans say that they're more flexible with this budget than any in history, and they're keeping an eye on accountability. And the day after Governor Beshear said lawmakers were asking for plans to reopen business just because they were listening to lobbyists, some who've defended his actions during this crisis voiced frustration to what has been seen here as the beginning of a war of words.
The comments from the governor yesterday were very personal. They were unfounded and very highly unfair, explosive. We have worked very hard not to be political. No legislator has taken a shot at the governor, rightfully. And so his comments yesterday were off the mark and very personal.
We asked the governor's office for a comment this afternoon. We did not hear back from them. If we get one, we'll update this story on digital on WHAS11.com. Also today, though, there is a plan. It's SB 136. This plan would allow some state agencies to get involved in trying to reopen some businesses, get some people back to work. But Doug, it's important to point out that anything that is passed today is not going, if it's vetoed, it can't be overridden because lawmakers have to finish working by midnight tonight, and the governor can veto anything that takes place. We're going to continue to monitor this situation here at the steps of the Capitol. We'll have more for you tonight at 11 o'clock and also WHAS11.com. For now, live at the Capitol, Chris Williams, WHAS 11 News.
All right, amazing scene down there. Thank you very much, Chris. And of course, for the first time, we learned today the governor's talks with the other governors on the states bordering us. At his daily briefing this afternoon, the governor talked about those protesters you're seeing live down there in Frankfort, saying we are not at that point of reopening our businesses because we're still in the surge.